The 2014 Honda CR-V is a sensible small SUV with plenty of passenger and cargo room and just enough versatility for that small family on the go. But it could use a little more variety under the hood. Hello and welcome back to Everyman Driver. I'm Dave Erickson. So glad you're watching. By the way, check out the all-new Everyman Driver podcast, now available on iTunes and Stitcher Smart Radio. The CR-V comes in 3 trim levels, the LX, EX, and EXL, each with the option of either front wheel or all-wheel drive. My tester is the EXL with all-wheel drive. Let's get started now by popping the hood. The power plant for the 2014 Honda CR-V is the same regardless of trim level. A 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine mated to a 5-speed automatic transmission. There is no manual mode available, which I think could help long-term when it comes to fuel economy. More on that in just a moment. As far as horsepower, 185 and 163 pound-feet of torque. This vehicle weighs around 3,500 pounds and can tow up to 1,500 pounds, so you do have that option. In the front-wheel drive, fuel economy is rated at 23 city, 31 highway. The all-wheel drive, my tester, is rated at 22 city, 30 highway. This week I've put more than 225 miles on it, and I have been averaging in mixed driving 19.2 miles per gallon. That's real-world driving, so kind of disappointing in my opinion. The fuel tank is 15.3 gallons and the recommended fuel type is regular unleaded. Time for some real-world legroom and headroom here in the back of the CR-V, and this is a place that I am constantly surprised and pleased with in terms of how much room you have for passengers. This is my position as a driver. I'm 5'11", and I've got a good fist between my knees and the back of the seat. There's even a compartment here for magazines behind the driver as well as the passenger. Headroom rivals that of some of your mid-size SUVs. Lots of room between your head and the roof line. 4 O-blank handles all the way around, leather trim seating, which you would expect here in the top trim level. Sunroof, extremely comfortable. You even have a fold-down armrest with a pair of cup holders, and this is a 60/40 fold-down split back seat. I like it. I think it's more than enough and very competitive when it comes to a small SUV in terms of passenger room, headroom, and legroom. This is going to sound nitpicky, but there's only one way to open the trunk lid of the 2014 Honda CR-V. There is no push button on the inside of the car. There's nothing here in the key fob, which is surprising since this is the top trim level for the CR-V in 2014. Once the vehicle is unlocked, then you have to do this manually. Press your fingers underneath this slot, and up it comes. Now here is the first bit of good news. Behind this second row of seats, you have over 37 cubic feet of volume, a lot of space. Fold those seats down, which are a 60/40 split, and you're looking at 70 cubic feet of volume. I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment, but first, my very stylish and colorful 2-piece luggage set. Will it fit back here? Well, obviously it will, but how much room would you have? I can easily put them side by side. I can put this up right here, and you can see no problem if I wanted to put twice as much luggage back here. And if you fold those seats down, you can definitely put a bicycle back there, even with the front wheel on. Now here's what I think is really cool. A 1-pull lever, and look what happens to that back row seats. They move on down all by themselves and show you how much room you have back here. I think it's fantastic. Just below your floorboard, you have a spare tire and jack, which may contribute to the overall weight of the vehicle. As I said before, some 3,500 pounds. Considering this is a small SUV, I'm very impressed with the amount of cargo room, especially behind that second row of seats. All right, let's talk some ride and handling here. This 4-cylinder is fairly smooth and responsive, Steering, though, doesn't stand out that much, at least it doesn't to me. And handling during everyday driving conditions, I think should be satisfactory to most people who are behind the wheel of the CR-V. Road noise could be a little bit better, both on the highway and around town. I think the overall layout inside is user-friendly. No flash, no frills, no sparkle, pretty basic. I do think this navigation screen could have a little more color, a little more pop. Take in consideration, there are no changes for 2014, so no surprises, no upgrades, real basic, but then again, it has a good formula, and I can see why Honda is sticking with it. I want to welcome back Melissa, our Everywoman driver, to get her impressions throughout the week, because together, collectively, we've put about 240 miles on the CR-V. So talk about it. What comes to mind when you think of the CR-V after this week?
I think it's peppy. You know, it's got some. It's not very powerful, but it has some zip to it. It zips around. It got around well in the snowy conditions here this week.
Talk about the pros and cons. What's some of the pros you like about this car?
Nice cargo room. You could fold down the seats. It has that nice fold down feature with the seats. You could put your bikes back there, put your dogs back there. You know, go on a ski trip, put your snowboard back there. It's nice for that. I also think this has good visibility. You know, I noticed that it's not a large car, so it's easy to get around. You can see, not a lot of blind spots.
That's interesting. I read some comments on this car on other websites, and visibility was an issue. People said that it wasn't that easy to see out because of that small third window in the back corner. But you don't have a problem?
I didn't have a problem with it, no. I'm a very careful driver, but I guess that rear post, that might be a little bit of a problem. I didn't like the range of pricing on this car. You know, you can get the base model for $22,000. That's really affordable for a brand new car.
How about some negatives? What stood out to you as, I wish this feature was available, or I don't like this? Let's kind of give a balance.
I know that a lot of people like a manual transmission, so you can't get this car in a manual transmission. I'm sorry, I want to go back to the things that I like. This car has a really great safety rating, so it's a 5-star safety rating for this car, which is something I look at in every car that I buy. I don't know if this is just my height or my arm length. I kind of have short arms, I guess, but this thing hits me right in the funny bone. The armrest hits me right in the funny bone every time I put my arm on it. It's really frustrating, so I end up just folding it back every time I get into this car. You said that you felt like you had a lot of headroom in the back, but I don't. I tend to be kind of claustrophobic though, so maybe that's why I don't feel like this is very spacious in here.
How about the seat comfort up here behind the wheel? Because you put a lot of miles on this car.
I think it's comfortable, yes. Like the seat heaters, the backup camera is nice. One thing that we noticed in any car that has a backup camera, not just this car, you have to wipe it off occasionally when you have inclement weather, and that's kind of frustrating. I'm sure there's nothing they can do about it. It's not specific to this car, it's just something that's a little annoying, I guess.
What I was really surprised about is the low fuel economy. You know, considering how much mixed driving that both you and I did in the car, it's below even the city estimated MPGs, less than 20 miles per gallon in mixed driving.
I'm super surprised about that because it's a smaller car and it's a 4-cylinder engine, so I don't know why it's getting such bad fuel mileage. I just did it for basic things, running errands, Christmas shopping, going to holiday parties, you know, that type of thing. I wasn't like off-roading it or anything, but I'm very surprised about that.
Now, your tradition of naming cars, have you had a chance to think about what you would nickname this Honda CR-V?
I think this car needs to be nicknamed something spunky and peppy. I was thinking, I just said peppy. I was thinking Pippi, like Pippi Longstocking.
Oh, Pippi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was zippy. It zipped me around town. And, you know, it was fun to drive. It was nice. It was nice to drive this car. A nice change from my Toyota Highlander.
Got it. Okay. I know in the past you have said this about the Honda Odyssey, that that's not your type of car. You're more of a mid-size or large SUV. Can you see yourself driving a small SUV like this Honda CR-V?
I could see myself driving this, yeah. I think it's convenient, it's compact. Except for the gas mileage thing, I'd probably look around and see what other cars get better gas mileage. It's not enough to make me want to buy it. That's one thing that I look at in a small SUV, that I want to get good gas mileage, and I want it to be all-wheel drive, and I don't prefer a 4-cylinder car. I like something with, I like a V6 or something with a little more power.
A big thank you once again to Melissa, our Everywoman driver, for her impressions throughout the week of the Honda CR-V. If you want to listen to the extended version of this conversation, tune in next week to the Everyman Driver podcast, available on iTunes and Stitcher Smart Radio. The beginning MSRP here on the 2014 Honda CR-V base model in front-wheel drive is just under 23 grand. My tester here is fully loaded. It's just over 30 grand. Now, personally, I'm not a small SUV guy. I prefer the Honda Pilot, but I can see where small families on the go can appreciate the versatility, decent fuel economy, and overall capability of the CR-V. It is worth a look and a test drive. Until next time, I'm Dave Erickson with Everyman Driver. Thanks for watching.